shooting the shit with Rhonda T. Tonight we're reviewing BMF, Black Mafia Family. But before we started, D, what's happening? Tell them what to do.
Smash that thumbs up on subscribe to our channel.
That's how you gonna do it?
You're so busy. You were just talking about the Bengals 5 seconds ago. Now you can't be bothered. I'm
All right,
confused.
Peace out. Let's get it going.
All right, so the show opens with Devil Night. I don't know anything about Devil Night. Apparently, this was something that took place back in 1984, where the folks got down in the streets of Detroit and set
Y'all
the
don't
thing
know
on
about
fire.
Devil's Night?
No.
We got Devil's Night.
Who?
They had Devil's Night when we was kids.
Well, I mean, you probably right there with Detroit. I'm not surprised. However, I don't know about Devil Night. We didn't do that. That doesn't sound like something I would want to participate
Devil's Night
in.
is the night before Halloween.
No, Halloween is enough. I don't like Halloween. I don't like masks and all that stuff. It's not my month.
Yeah.
Let's go back to Easter with the bunnies and the eggs.
They be setting stuff
Why
on
are
fire.
eggs so expensive? It's just disrespectful. I feel like I'm gonna be very much affected by this and how
Your cholesterol go down this month. No egg.
won't be no breakfast up in here. So anyway, Devil's Night, people are running around. They said they had 800 fires within 4 days. That's crazy. That's crazy.
They used to burn the city up. Not people's houses though. It would be like abandoned houses here. They was tripping in Detroit. We weren't burning people's houses.
Well,
they were burning your leaves now. They used to be like, they had your leaves up before Devil's Night. And they would burn abandoned houses. Yeah, because they would set the leaves. You know, back in the day, we used to rock them. Back in the day, we used to sweep them to the street. So you couldn't have them there.
But I'm thinking like in 1984, like your perspective of that was you were little.
Yeah, but they used to be like, you can't have your leaves out there because they would set the leaves on fire. And you will always hear how many fires it was. I mean, 84, this went on all the way to the night. Like Devil's Night is Devil's Night still
it's something
today.
That's still,
yeah, that's
See, that's why October is my cutoff. I come see y'all in October and then I gotta bounce because I don't mess
Devil's
around.
Night is a thing.
This is Florida. We got enough things. We do not need Devil's Night. Anyway, fast forward, we at the car business and they seem to be doing well. Pops is happy. He about to turn a profit. You know, things looking up as they should. Hard work pays. That's what they say. And then Terry and Nikki are getting ready to head out to school. And Terry hears about a big drug bust that went down, I guess down south somewhere, trying to come through. Well, you know, that's going to affect business. That's crazy how I always think of that too, as if, you know what I'm saying? When you hear about drug bust, you'd be like, ooh, that's going to change things. Wonder who's going to be affected by this situation. Did they get the weed, man? See, y'all don't have that issue either. It's legal.
You buy weed from the store.
Yeah, no, we don't have that.
We're out of business up here.
Oh, the new age. That won't happen here. We have a situation. Anyway, moving on. So Meech is at the house smashing cash doll, and he gets a call that his people in Cleveland got robbed. Did they? Okay, Meech got his baby over there. That's the baby he had with the other girl. Him and Cash Doll didn't have no baby, like couldn't have. So did he just bring his baby? I thought
that was her daughter. I thought he had slipped up and made one by her.
That's what I'm wondering. But I'm like, remember he has another baby mama.
He do.
Where's she at? Why is the baby over there with his girlfriend? Like, are you
the other girl baby?
Because that sounds crazy. No, you cannot keep the baby.
Because the baby's kind of big. So how much time? Couldn't have been that much time to pass.
It hasn't been, no, because Lamar just got out of the hospital and all of that
Right.
stuff. So no,
Right.
it has to be his baby with the other chick. But I'm just like, anyway, this is the, this is the rules that we live by over here in the D. On the way to school, Terry and Nikki have a car accident. They have a blowout, and it ends up like, getting Nikki a little concussion and things.
I had to rewind it because I was like, did someone shoot the tire? Did the tire just blow out?
It's a blowout. And so Pops, of course, is concerned, like, who is coming after you that, blew out the tires? But Terry is like putting it on Devil's Night, which at this point, I guess, is anything is possible,
He probably really did think it was Devil's Night.
Yeah, because he hasn't really been in the streets like that. Meech goes to see K9 over to the Honeycomb Hideout. There's always something going on over there. We got somebody else at the table about to get his fingers cut off for acting a fool. I don't think it's just death over there. It's just a bad idea to go hang out over there. I don't know why he stuck them 2 cards underneath his sleeve. Like, I would have saw that, and I'm not even a card player. So you can't have cards in your sleeves and then play games with killers. Meech wants some work on consignment. So since the cousin got busted, now he needs to get a re-up, but he needs to get it on consignment. And, K9 is like, maybe check with me a couple weeks. Because for him, the whole bust is a benefit because he gets to raise his prices and get people all,
Because the streets are dry right now.
The streets are dry.
Excuse me.
Commerce and all. That's how it works. Capitalism and all that good stuff. Even in the game. Meech does what he does. He gives his speech, like to convince. He's a salesman of himself. That much I give him. So K9 is like, remember the loudmouth dude that was over here last time? I knew when I seen that guy that it was gonna be. I was like, you'll be back. I don't know why, but you're making a lot of noise, so I'm having a feeling we'll see you again. Well, he tried to cross K9. He owes him some money, and he wants Meech to bring him back alive. Bring this nigga Travis back alive, and then I'll give you some work on consignment. And Meech is like, all right. Dang, your life just ain't about. That's why I stay in the house. He also told him to check on his family. He said, all blood ain't family. So check on your cousin and see, see if that's what really happened.
You would think that would have crossed his mind.
I think so. You are talking about, this is Cleveland. Plus you said you didn't even like your cousin. And,
right.
You don't even like each other. So anyway, Nikki is a little banged up. Like I said, she got a little concussion and such. And Pops has found out that the accident was not caused by Devil's Night. That they like removed the pins or something and let the air out of the tire. So this was something else. And Terry is like, okay, I'll figure it out. So at this point, I think he did think it was some street shit. I don't think he thought about the other thing.
Boy, no, because why would you think that?
Well, he should calm down. Not right then. He should calm down because, you go around popping off on people and you don't know who's coming for you.
I was gonna say, yeah, he pop off so much. He don't know. His temper is horrible. It's
real short. So Brian and New Cop are down at the precinct discussing how the 12th Street Boys and the 50 Boys have now merged into BMF, and they're just getting the streets are talking to the cops. So now the cops know that there are no rivals. Everybody is working as one. That was
real nice of them. That was sweet.
To unify like that?
Unity, UNITY.
It's working for everybody except Bryant. I see what Misha did?
Misha brought everybody together. Good job, Misha.
That's why you hate him, isn't it? That's why you hate him.
Yeah.
That's the way the story seems. Yes, Meech is the what do you
Robin
call
Hood.
it?
He
Yeah,
Robin
he's
Hood.
the Robin Hood of Detroit.
Yeah.
I think it's funny though how Bryant like tries to act like he didn't play any part in the mess. Like he's just so bent on getting Meech, but you was participating. You was getting paid off the same streets that Meech was
That's
working.
all I'm like, he got a heart on when we first met him. He was helping Meech out.
You was on the payroll, my friend.
Right.
What now your son to move to the house and you've changed your ways?
Get
I
out of
don't
here.
understand.
Right.
So Meech is over at the record store. That's his honeycomb hideout.
Mm-hmm.
The meetup spot, he over at the record store. He goes to have a discussion with corrupt Tevin Campbell about catching up with this dude, Travis, right? So corrupt Tevin Campbell is down to do whatever Meech tells him to do. He listening. You know, the funniest thing about this was he was like, do you have a picture of him?
No.
Meech is like, do I look like a nigga to carry another nigga's picture around? I was like, oh, that's right. They weren't like having camera phones and stuff back then.
Right.
So do you have a picture? Where would he put it?
In his pocket.
That would be weird.
Yep.
So they got a new guy that we've been seeing a little light of. I'm gonna call him sidekick number 2 because he's been, you know, in a few scenes, and so I guess he's gonna be around. He's a new member of the family. And I'm not about to sit up here and memorize all the members of the family. We're just gonna stick to the key players. So homeboy comes in and tells Meech about the accident that took place with Terry and Nikki. So he, you know, got to fly over there and go see what's going on with his baby sister. That's cute. Nikki over at the house pretending like she's sick so she don't have to go to school.
That's right,
smart. That's very smart, Nikki. Get yourself a couple days. Ain't no sister going sitting in there and you got that bust up head. Just relax.
Not for to say, not for nothing. Her head was, you know, she did hit
And I
that
mean,
head hard.
yeah, she's been through a lot.
Ain't nobody
I'm
trying to be
always
bruised up.
get some rest, Nikki.
Right.
Terry and Meech are kind of warming up to each other because, you know, they fist fought it out last week, but they, you know, realizing they're tired of being mad at each other. Terry's back at the insurance company. He spent so much time here. And so, you know, Lala lets him know that brochure guy is the one that flatted your tires. I told you this was not going to be good for business. I want to know why Lala is standing at the counter like a bank teller. Why don't she have a desk? She's an insurance person.
That's why I thought she was at the bank.
Come on. I've never gone to the insurance and stood there at the, you know, hello, yeah. Mr. Jones.
I don't know.
Well, Terry makes a scene and acts a fool. She had to tell him to step outside. They're like in a whole relationship at this point. It's like it's going down at the insurance company.
What is the people saying that he there all the time? They have
to be talking. That office is not that big. Why is Mr. Terry always coming through here? When he go out, they be like, "Girl, he like you." You know, right. And she got a whole husband. We not doing nothing in secret. So over at the morgue, Ashley Larry is doing his job, dusting off and trying to make the corpses pretty. And Lamar is like Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th.
He just pops up.
He just popped up with a deep breath, like from under the covers, and wants to steal the gators off of a corpse. Are we burying people with gators on? That seems silly.
I thought they took your shoes off, but maybe not. I don't know, child.
I mean, I don't really blame Lamar. Like, what is he gonna do with them?
He said, "You." That's the code. We on, you know, you buy by the code.
Ashley Larry has no code because he was over there molesting naked corpses. So now you got morals. Nope, that's not gonna work. Lamar's just doggone psycho. And you know what's crazy? Lamar is out. Everybody thinks he's dead, and the cops ain't told nobody that the streets ain't safe because y'all let a whole psychopath murderer out, just out roaming around.
And y'all ain't concentrating on you. All you talking about is Meech. You ain't said nothing about Lamar.
I think some people should know that Lamar's alive and he escaped. And lock your doors and stuff. I'm just saying. So now Lala is having lunch with Terry at a fancy restaurant where they serve calamari for appetizers. Discussing how she likes his haircut and like she's not married to a dope dude.
I can't with Lala.
Well, Terry explains to her how he wants to retaliate against Brochure Guy, and Lala tries to get Terry to think rational, but we all know that Terry doesn't think rational. Terry is a hothead, and so Terry is gonna do what Terry does because that's just how that goes. You the one told him where to do who did it. You could have kept that to yourself, but you decided to share that information.
I'm pretty sure you know the streets, so I'm pretty sure you know who Terry is too. So, okay.
Terry used to work for Homeboy. Yeah, you know exactly. Okay, speaking of that, you know who Terry is. You gonna call him out. I think you must be a Capricorn because what, the vibe is just in the air, or you have all his information on the insurance papers that you done looked into to see. She's like, he a Capricorn girl. They down to the insurance company. That's the kind of discussions they're having when he walk out the door. Mind you, he's in high school, but we're not even
he don't never
about that.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about the fact that he literally came off the high school playground. She was telling him and you were saying it wasn't the houses. She was telling him how people with a lot of money was over there burning their property so they could collect on the insurance. And
that makes sense.
That makes sense, and businesses and stuff like that. And I'm like, they running around here destroying and killing each other in their neighborhood, and they don't own anything. I just don't.
That makes sense, because I'm telling you, around here it was abandoned buildings, and it probably was them people building, trying to blame us.
They why they down there? I'm like, I mean, that's a benefit. You can always write that shit off.
Exactly. They because right now y'all just paying taxes on buildings y'all ain't using.
Not anymore. Because you know what? On Devil's Night, the shit's popping off. And it seems like this insurance company deals with a lot of different gangsters. So they probably they're probably the people you want to go to get that check. So Zoe's outside and she's talking with her little friends, and she happens to look up and see Lamar standing across the street. I don't know why he always is creeping around the schoolyard. See what I'm saying? This is why the police needs to say something. He's at the school.
Ricky Jason.
With the gaiters on and a hoodie. Dressed like a crazy person. It's like he picked random things off of different corpses and now he's wearing it in the street. She sees him, the bus goes by, and then Cash Doll, I don't really know her name, but she's Cash Doll anyway. She is like, Zoe, can you hear me calling you? And Zoe tells her, but of course everybody thinks that Lamar's dead. Don't be ridiculous. You did not see him. That's the shit to get your attention, get you killed.
I mean, y'all didn't have a funeral. Did y'all have a funeral?
For what?
Did anybody see him dead besides Meech?
People said he was shot in the streets. You know how many people get shot in the streets?
That's what they think he in one of them crates.
Yep. That's what they think. I think Detective Brian is a pervert. I don't know why he rolled up on Sidekick like that and lit his cigarette. I was like, that's creepy. Stop it. Back up a little bit. So he then tells him, like in a creepy way, get in the car. We need to get together and talk for a minute. He's so corny. I wish he would stop doing that. He's like, I thought Popo Omar was corny, but he's not. Not when you compare him to Detective Bryant, because he's, thinks he's on Law and Order or some shit. Anyway, he gets in the car and he takes him over to this outside morgue because, he wants to tell him, like, everything y'all are doing is killing these people in the streets and y'all killing the neighborhood. And I don't know when he became the warrior for the neighborhood, but this is what y'all are doing. And they don't even have room for these people. And it's just a morgue outside, like a bunch of, I don't know, what do you call those trailers full of dead bodies. And then he takes him to a trailer and lets him know that, Kato was in one of those trailers, and Sidekick is like feeling some type of way, I'm sure, but Kato doesn't have any family. Then he hands him a sonogram photo and lets him know that Kato was pregnant. Was she? Do we really know? Because,
he could have got that sonogram from anywhere.
He could have got that from anywhere because Detective Brian wants to set up Meech. So he wants Sidekick to, like, bring Meech over.
Right,
to
listen, Meech did. Meech made you kill your girl who's pregnant. Like, do they give you sonograms? Like, do they do that? I doubt it.
When you're a corpse?
Yeah.
No.
Right. I don't see them doing that.
And then poor little corrupt Tevin Cameron puked all over his shoes. He is carrying so much. He is carrying way too much. So now what you gonna do, Sidekick? Because he done made you think that Meech made you kill your baby mama. Meanwhile, Meech is at a tattoo parlor. He done found the address where the guy got his tattoo. And now he is pressing this guy to give him, when you go in somewhere and sign the paperwork and you put your address and stuff down. So he got at least the address that this guy put down to get his tattoo. Then he gets a call from Cash saying that Zoe says she's seen Lamar. And he's like, no, stop letting her watch scary movies because that's not Lamar. Lamar's dead. I saw him dead. You saw him shot?
Right. That's what I'm like, we didn't have no funeral or nothing for Lamar. Ain't nobody saw Lamar being buried.
We saw Lamar and it's laying in the street. That's the last time we saw him. We don't know what happened after that. Kanan, we don't know what happened after that.
Right. Prime example.
So Meech gets the address and he goes over there and he finds a crackhead and a little girl in the apartment. Crackhead is going straight to, she'll hook him up if he got some rock. It's that serious. He did not find Travis. Travis was, out the window. But he discovers, like, I don't know, she starts singing this song and then he realizes that the crackhead was actually his babysitter from back in the day. And during this whole process, I guess he called Sidekick because the little girl hadn't had nothing to eat. He was feeling, I don't know what he was feeling in that moment. Like, dang. I think the whole idea, because I heard people say after the fact that they weren't proud of what crack did, to the neighborhoods. But it was,
to my
in the 80s, everywhere in LA and Detroit and Atlanta, everywhere where,
you mean the dealers wasn't happy
when they saw how it happened. Like, this person was my babysitter. Now look at her. She's sitting here smoking crack in front of her kid. And she's like, don't judge me, You hooked just as much as I am. And I'm like, I don't think he ever looked at it that way. He's always looked at it as him being in charge and being this big boss, but that's what is required of you. And I mean, I guess BMF, like, it did turn into a worldwide thing. Atlanta, Detroit definitely was part of the BMF, connection. Okay, so he gets the address, he gets the information he needs from her, and he's still off on this mission to capture this dude and bring him back alive. That sounds crazy. How do you do that?
What, bring him back alive?
Yeah.
I guess
Like, I feel like there had to be a better way to do it.
I guess knock them out.
That would have been smarter, but we'll get to that. Anyway, Terry took his irrational self over to the brochure guy's offices and found out real quick you can't just go in everywhere popping off on folks, or you might just find your behind whooped. Terry, what does he think he is, Superman? He just pulled, they didn't even have to say nothing really. But now you done made him mad again because you down at his office,
He done walked away though. He walked away real fast.
What you gonna do?
Yeah. Maybe he thought because they was, the colonizers, he could walk in and scare them and that was gonna work. But
the
they look like
colonizers
they Italian, weren't they? Didn't they seem like they were Italian though?
I don't think he's Italian. He's something Irish or something.
Irish, yeah, it was something. They was a little mobbish. Yeah,
Very
they had an
much so.
accent like the Irish. They did.
Very much so. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's other mobs out there, Terry. Guess what? Anyway, girl, mom and pops is at church. I don't know how I feel about this.
Well, pops.
I'm like, I feel two ways about this. I'm like, am I being played? Like, are we being played to sympathize with this man so hard that they just making this lady like nuts in order to be like, see what he has to deal with? It's almost like they're trying to give him a path to slip out on his wife. Feel like that's what I'm being set up for. But anyway, Pops is at church, like he playing his guitar and skinning and grinning all up in the face of the lady at the choir. I was like, this is disrespectful.
It was very disrespectful and weird being that y'all were in church.
Y'all are in church. What is happening right now? Everybody's watching y'all flirt and dance together while your wife is in the front row. Anyway, after mom's old, whatever they call her, Florence, whatever her name is, I'm sorry. She obviously realizes that her husband is doing too much and then has a side conversation with Snoop Dogg, the pastor.
And you already know he couldn't stand him, so I don't even know why you had that conversation with him.
Well, she spilled like all of the tea. I think there's a way to get counseling without embarrassing your husband like that. You know what I'm saying? Like there's certain things, I don't know. I would never seek counseling from Snoop Dogg, the pastor, but
Like I said, you already know your husband can't stand him. He didn't already told you that last season. So, and then you gonna go to the man
and Snoop Dogg, the pastor, low key is giving. If you can't do it right, then I just might handle it for you. Like, anyway, he tells her basically that she spilled everything. She told him about the magazine. She told him like they ain't been, getting it in. I don't know how she got comfortable even saying that to the pastor, but she did. And he told her that she better learn how to be more subservient, basically, or she gonna lose a man. That's what I heard him say in a nutshell.
That's what he said. I'm like, okay, powerful.
As soon as she walks out the door, Snoop goes over there, Pastor Snoop goes over there and confronts Pops about it. Like, are you out of your mind? So he just went up to this man and basically was like, I heard you ain't getting it in. Heard you locking in the sack. And so homeboy was like, I ain't never slapped no pastor before. I was so glad he reacted that way. Like, are you out of your mind? I don't care if you are a pastor. Don't ever come over to me trying to discuss. Like, you ambushed this dude.
That was bold.
That's why I said he was giving me that, well,
but then wasn't he like flirting with her last time?
I feel like, yeah. And I feel like she knows that. I don't know. Like I said, she was done with him. Like, I don't feel sorry for her. I don't. You've been doing the most, like, this whole time. Brochure guy came after all the cars. Now Pops is really mad because he's like, this is crazy. Like, that was definitely some street shit. because now all my cars have been attacked. Now the money that we were supposed to have in the head and be, in the black, now we got to spend all of that money to get all these tires fixed, plus how much money we're not going to be making while we are not riding around.
Yeah.
And so basically he's preaching that same song to Terry about how you gonna get out of that street and learn how to do things the right way, and be a man. And he leaves, and the new driver lady just told this nigga, yeah, whatever Pop said, that sound real good and everything, but we gotta get them. We gotta go get them. That's real easy for you to say, Miss Denise. But
you think so?
that is easy.
She gotta get her money. She gotta get back rolling.
That wasn't gonna happen?
Look here, I told you he got with a thug.
He definitely did.
I told you she was from the hood, she from the shop.
And that's the first thing he said. Don't you work for GM? So mom and pops are still at odds. He came in the house, grabbed something, and was like, I'm finna go fix Miss Mabel's ceiling fan. I was like, is Miss Mabel the lady he was just singing with? She is not, but I was
she
like,
ain't no Miss Nothing. That was Sandra.
Child.
That was Miss Mabel.
That church is full of Jezebel and Floozy with that Delilah energy. I don't know what's going on over there, but I mean, when Snoop Dogg is your pastor, I saw some girl booty shaking in a tight dress.
Oh, wait a minute. I was finna say. Hold on. I know this boy ain't missing no kick.
So anyway, before he goes, out the door, she says some slick stuff. Like he said he get ready to go hang up Miss Mabel's ceiling fan. And she's like, what about the walls in here? Is that what her pastor that she believes in so much told her to do? That's not what he told her to do.
He said, damn, that pastor.
But then she turned around and said, don't disrespect him. What is it going to be?
Well, he wasn't going over there to make no money. So he was wrong too. So Miss Mabel tried to pay him. He said, no, you ain't got to pay me. I'm like, the hell he do?
Well,
y'all ain't in the position to give away money.
Speaking of Miss Mabel, he gets over to Miss Mabel's house, and she was over there trying to sweep the shackles off her feet. Now, I don't know who does all that while the handyman is at the house.
She was doing too much.
She was doing some shackles on my feet. Come on, Harry.
You better sit down.
Did Miss Mabel go to that church?
That's that same woman at church, wasn't it?
I said, did she go to that church? That's not the one.
I thought that was the one that was playing the guitar. That wasn't her. That was a different one.
I think that was a different one. I said there's Miss Mabel, there's the lady at the church, they made it very clear that we needed to notice the lady in the polka dot dress that was like gyrating in the front row.
Oh, okay.
So it's like it's a lot of hoochie mamas going on around here. What kind of church is this?
Snoop.
Pastor Snoop's church.
Yep, Snoop. It wouldn't be no other way.
So, I mean, moral to that story is, don't send your man over to Mabel's house to fix the fan. Like, don't piss him off when he's walking out the door. Save that. Sometimes you got to save things for the right time. That wasn't really the right time for that.
He still didn't do nothing. So I was glad he didn't act on it.
I'm telling you, it feels like a setup. It feels like a setup that he's such a good guy so that when he does act on it, then, then the people going to be like, who wrote this? Like, I don't know who the writer is, but, some of this stuff is real and some of it is not. And I'm like, whose perspective is it? Because I just don't, and I'm not saying it's not a thing ever, but it just seems like we're being set up to just, because she's annoying the shit out of me. Everything
be okay
she does,
when he does step out.
When he does slip out, then it'd be like, oh, but she was so awful to him. That ain't what it's going to be. I'm still going to be mad. So I hope that's not what they're leading up to. But anyway. Brian and New Cop are out, and they got a call that there was a house on fire. So the people in the neighborhood decided they're gonna burn down the whorehouse because they're tired of that nonsense. And if the cops aren't gonna do anything, they're gonna do it themselves. And they was on some F the police type energy. And so New Cop hears somebody, inside the house. And so she's like on her G.I. Jane. So she busted the door and drags the man out. I feel like, I don't know. I've never been a cop. I don't know if that's what they were supposed to do, but I feel like waiting on the fire department to get there might be too late. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't think he was gonna make it.
She, did what she felt like she needed to do as a public servant in the moment, right? I don't hate New Cop so far. Come to find out that the dude, in the house was a whorehouse, but he's still a human being. You know what I'm saying? So she found out he was a vet, and they went into that conversation, and so they had a whole cultural moment in there, the Vietnamese and the vet, and how vets don't get respect.
Up there like, why? What was this relevant to anything?
You're supposed to get to know her so you don't hate her.
Bye.
That's the whole point.
That didn't do it. I was sitting up there like, this is irrelevant to anything.
I mean, it was a tear-jerking moment. That's So Meech and Sidekick, Meech and Sidekick, they pull up on this dude Travis, and he's at his house actually banging K9's girl. You said she was rubbing up on that dude, or she was being friendly. So anyway, they have a shootout. I don't know, that's what I'm saying. How are you supposed to bring him back alive? Because it seems like they planned that all wrong. You can't just everybody got a gun.
Right. Y'all should have did somewhere y'all snuck up on him and
y'all were supposed to sneak up on him. But
I guess they were gonna try, but then old boy was out there finna throw a Molly cocktail because it was still Devil's Night. Remember the boy across the street?
But still, they didn't. He just saw Sidekick out on the street. They still didn't plan that. They don't plan anything. That's what I said. They just be out wilding. Him walking through that apartment with the crackhead. I was like, what is he now? 50? He walking through he really, on his Miami Vice. Anyway, the shootout happens inside the house. Travis doesn't make it. Sidekick just shot him in the head because he tends to do that. Sidekick can get a little trigger happy, so
he's like, well, he was busting at me. What did you think?
What did you think I was supposed to do? Right. Carefully shoot back? That's not how that was gonna work. So he didn't make it. Of course, now K9 is mad. And so he's like, I told you to bring him back alive, so now you can't have anything on consignment because he's a big toddler over there playing games with people, games of murder. He's mad because he didn't get to kill the nigga himself. And I don't know what's gonna happen to his girlfriend, but they seem to have an understanding.
Because she was like, that ain't gonna stop nothing. I was like, girl.
That's what she said. That's what she said.
But this is the game. This is what y'all do. You just go around getting dudes.
He wasn't worried. And I mean, he probably doesn't care. He'll just find a new exotic to carry around. Brochure guy is driving down the street, and of course the Denise lady was right. The brakes, go out. There's some swerving, and I'm assuming that was Meech and Terry that ran into the car. So his car, got hit, and he didn't run into anything, oddly enough. He just kind of coasted on down to the car stop, and then Terry and Meech and that other dude, they beat shit out of him in the middle of the street and, warned him. I don't know that that's gonna work. I'm like, that was the plan.
I feel like war just started.
I'm like, y'all just started a war. You should listen to your daddy. Jeez.
They don't know. She should have explained to him who they were. Because if you knew they was the Irish mob or something. Maybe that's something you should have said.
Who? Lala down at the high school picking up
Yeah, because she said they ain't the
teenagers?
ones you want to mess with. Maybe if she has,
Child,
you know, that's the mob,
she
right?
doesn't seem to be making smart decisions for her own self. She got a killer as a husband because we know that's what he's capable of doing.
Mhm.
And she out here having dinner dates at the restaurant with the calamari for advertisers. Anyway, after committing a crime and beating this man in the street, he pulled up on Lala. I guess she was at the office. He seen her car. She had to go to the office, but now she's avoiding looking at him because why? Because she has a black eye. Because why? Because her husband is a dangerous man.
Maybe because he found out the little boy was hanging around her office. I'm just saying.
You think? You think? He probably also knows that he's a Capricorn and all that other shit.
So side note. So I was gonna look this up, but they didn't hurt one of my players. Not Pollard. But y'all, my game is on. Y'all know this is killing me. But Color Me Pink says Tonesta, the girl Lala playing the real girl.
Okay.
She said that first of all, she pissed off that Lala is even playing her role. Well, for one, if you've seen her, she a dark-skinned girl. So they like how she's like, that's so disrespectful that y'all didn't pick her. And then I kind of feel like too, like Lala is like the bird of TV. You know what I'm saying? And if this girl is girlfriend, she's so not a bird. Like she like got a real boss like personality, and y'all playing her to the left like this little chick. I
feel like that. Yeah, like with Tommy over in The Shy, and here it's the same scenario.
Same thing.
Yeah.
But the real chick, if you watch her story, she's nothing like that.
Well, the whole interaction between them is so corny. And I'm like, here we go. Now Terry wants to beat up her husband, and she's like, no, he's my husband and I have children with him. Yeah, then why are you out here having dates? You know what I'm saying?
This girl is so opposite of this. I know she is like spitting teeth watching this every week.
Back to this love story. Of course, Terry goes, if you were my girl, I want to throw up. If you were my girl, I would never treat you like this.
Yeah, okay. So we have seen how you treat your girls, Terry. We've been watching how you treat your girls. Okay.
I was just like, girl, Terry's baby mama, I want you to go back to where you took that baby and find out what you want to do with yourself, and don't be sitting up here waiting on Terry to be anything other than a hot-headed ass dope boy, because that's what the hell he wants to do. And so you leaving and him making you feel guilty for doing that, you should not, because he's out here, just being reckless.
Yeah. And he gonna get somebody killed. So
and he kissing that man's wife and going on dates while you babysitting. So Cash Doll, her daughter's over playing a game, and they're having a cute little moment when somebody calls and then doesn't say anything. He's a fucking weirdo. Freaking weirdo.
Lamar is psycho.
But do the cops care that this innocent woman is over here? No. Why? Because she's friends with me. So that makes her, I don't know, the disposable.
Enemy. Yeah, we don't
the
care.
Enemy. Yeah. So he calls and hangs up, and then she hears somebody like peel out real hard with the car. And so she looks out the window. I was like, what did you opening the door for? Now that didn't make any sense, but she wouldn't.
Because we be peeking. We be peeking. We ain't finna open up no door.
We not open up the door.
You would have went to the window and peeked out.
I would have went around the side. I'd have looked at all the windows of the house. she opened the door and there's some Cadbury eggs. So I guess that's the candy that he used to buy her when they were together. I want to know, Cash Doll, what was Lamar serving when he was your man and you thought he was stable enough to be considered, calling your kid, calling him dad? And that's just weird because he's a whole psychopath, like for real, for real.
She must have just liked that he was like the head of the gang. She liked that power.
How you like me now?
Well, I mean, power is crazy. He crazy. He's stalking you from the grave, girl.
Well, she's realizing, is that what happens? Maybe. But she's calling Meech to find out, like, to let him know, listen, you keep saying this dude is dead, but these things are happening. She couldn't do that because Meech and Terry and Sidekick are standing outside the corner store, chatting it up, being, best buds and everything. His phone is in the car. So,
I was just like, oh, them standing in front of the corner store. That was just so back in the day that the boys used to do. Just sitting out, hanging out in front of the corner store.
Just hanging out, yeah, because they can't be at home.
Yeah.
So they're talking about how corrupt Tevin Campbell has a hookup with this person that has medical grade work, and he's very impressed with himself. They can't go to K9, so now Meech has no choice but to go to this person that corrupt Tevin Campbell got, and this person came from Bryant. But he's telling him, well, Terry don't want to hear it. Terry's like annoyed because he's missing
like,
that.
Oh yeah.
So he goes in the store, and Mish now wants to have a meetup with the Connect. He lets him know, like, we got to go get this work. So meanwhile, cops is right across the street. That's not obvious. We standing there, all three of us, and we do not see the popo just parked right across the street in the parking lot where nobody else is at. Anyway, they decide they're gonna go, meet the Connect. They all get in the car, and of course, cops is like, they're on the move. They're giving everybody the heads up. And sneaky little Tevin Campbell, he's torn. So now he's sitting there. He stops the car, and Meech is behind him like, what's going on? What the hell? Come on, why are we moving? We gotta go. So homeboy gets out the car to go make a phone call. I don't think he was really trying to make a phone call. I think he was trying to figure out.
Stalling.
He was stalling. He's trying to figure what the heck he was gonna do. And so while that happens, here comes Lamar pulling up in a Jeep. Where'd he get that Jeep from?
He done stole it from some dead man. He done stole everything else from the dead man.
He gets around, don't he? So anyway, Lamar pulls up and he starts shooting at Meech. It's the whole shootout. The whole plan is foiled. 5-0 pulls up. Now they pull up and Bryant wants to put everybody under arrest. What exactly are they under arrest for? Getting shot at? That didn't make no sense whatsoever. New cop was in the street shooting at Lamar, drive off.
Right.
And Bryant is like, Meech is shot, like he's bleeding out, and Bryant is trying to like handcuff him and make him be under arrest. He looks like a whole psycho.
He do. And she thought so too.
She thought so too. So Terry and the other boy, they're like, he needs to go to a hospital. Like, I don't know, what are you talking about? So Bryant has him basically like on the ground. Terry is Meech is just, barely trying to breathe. New cop comes up and was like, are you out of your mind? Like, he needs to be at a hospital. So she tells them to put Meech in the car and that they'll give him a police escort. And they throw him in the car and off to the hospital they go. So that's where we at. Meech is in the car bleeding out. We know it's not, fatal.
It was dramatic though.
Huh?
It was dramatic the way they ended it.
So then what happens with Bryant now? Like,
with the detective?
Yeah, he needs to be somewhere sitting down. He got stolen stuff from the jail, evidence. he got fake sonogram pictures from wherever he got that from, the
Yeah, but
hospital.
that was fake.
He acts like he wants to bend sidekick over. I need him to cut that shit out because it's making me uncomfortable. Like he's like is a sidekick in high school too?
I would think so. He probably gonna go unplug sidekicks mama's her stuff.
The only one that's barely grown is Meech. I feel like the rest of them are kids. You're doing all of this for some children. It's disgusting.
Yeah. That you was working with when we first saw you. This was your
on
boy.
Payroll. On the payroll.
Yeah.
Now you're, came to save the neighborhood, Batman.
Child, please. I can't.
Anyway, we know how this turns out, but we don't know how this turns out. So we're gonna check in next week and see
we know he made
what
it.
happens. We know he doesn't. Yeah, we know he doesn't die. That part we do know. All right, y'all. Did
you see Mama trying to get sympathy at church and neighbors on there like, child, please. For next week. Next week they show Mama in church.
Why are they back at that church? What are they doing?
That's Mama church. That's Mama church. And Mama trying to get sympathy for her son. And they like, girl, if you don't get out of here. They like pray for.
No, because they are on some burn down the whorehouse stuff.
I mean,
now,
last time he was in that church, we was in there because of he was the reason why the little boy got killed. Now you want us to have sympathy for him getting shot? Mama, you know what it is. And here's my other thing with Terry that made me think about the whole situation with the car. They could have easily been Meech. I mean, because that's still your son. You saying, Terry, you out in these streets, but they could easily target you because of Meech. It didn't have nothing to do with Terry. That's still your son, and they know that's your
company.
You know what I'm saying? So,
because right now he still feels like he can save Terry. In his mind, he feels like Meech is the reason why Terry is in this mess, when really Meech told Terry to stay at the home, and Terry wanted to go, and Terry put himself in it. From the very beginning, Terry's been responsible for Terry's decision.
All right.
He's hot-headed and smart, so you can't tell him nothing because he thinks he knows everything. And yeah, I'm like, I feel like I'm being bamboozled. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna judge Mother for what she has been showing me. But on the other side, I'm like, Pops, don't let this be a setup for you to slide over to Miss Mabel's, because I'm not gonna be pro that either. Stay away from Mabel.
And back up when you playing that guitar at church.
Girl, and leave your dirty magazines out the guitar case, because the pastor don't want them at the church.
It was for church.
Does that make any sense?
That didn't make no sense. Not
they
the
need
church
to see
guitar.
Dr. Francis. He can help.
Child. You want to hold it? Go ahead, tell her.
You use my bags because right here. Smash at them. The bus got that channel.
Bye right now. Bye, y'all.